Greetings. Welcome to the Soul Whisp. I'm your storyteller, Carlisle Munson. Today's story is called The Cottonwood Tree. In the blistering summer of 1916, in the dust-choked borderlands between Texas and Chihuahua, two men rode north from Mexico on a creaking wagon loaded with hides and dreams. Tom Hargrove, a lanky Texan from Houston, with calloused hands and a stubborn streak, was 28, a cattleman's son who'd seen lean years and leaned into them. Beside him sat Eric Lindstrom, a broad-shouldered Swede, 25, who'd come to Texas to marry Tom's sister, Anna. Eric, known simply as the Swede in Houston's saloons, had a laugh like a summer storm and a knack for fixing anything, wagons, hearts, or hopes. They'd ventured south to trade for leather, hoping to fund a new life for Anna and Eric. But the border was a tinderbox, alive with the chaos of Pancho Villa's revolution. The men had crossed the Rio Grande, their wagon rattling along a rutted trail near El Paso, when the air turned sharp with danger. Hooves thundered, and Villa's band, ragged-armed and fierce, swept down like a hawk on a hare. Villa himself, his mustache curling like smoke, eyed the men with a mix of disdain and curiosity. "Gringos," he spat, "you think this land is yours to plunder?" Tom tried to explain. They were just traders, not soldiers, but Villa's men, hardened by years of war, saw only intruders. The Swede stayed silent, his blue eyes steady, clutching a small silver locket Anna had given him, her photo inside. The bandits bound Tom and Eric's hands with coarse rope and marched them to a lone cottonwood tree, its branches clawing at the sky. Villa's men, laughing, looped nooses around their necks and hoisted them just high enough that their boots scraped the dirt, choking, but not yet dead. "Let the desert judge you," Villa said, turning his horse. The band rode off, leaving the men to the sun and the silence. Hours passed, the ropes biting into their necks, their breaths shallow. Tom whispered prayers his mother taught him. Eric hummed a Swedish hymn, faint but defiant. As dusk painted the sky crimson, a rustle came from the mesquite bushes. An Indian woman, her face lined like the desert itself, emerged. She was Comanche, her dark eyes wary but kind, her hair streaked with gray. She carried a knife, its blade worn but sharp, and moved with the silence of someone who'd learned to hide. Without a word, she cut the ropes, easing the men to the ground. Tom coughed, rubbing his throat. Eric, gasping, clutched her hand, murmuring, "Tack, thank you." She spoke little English, only pointing north and handing them a skin of water. "Go," she said, her voice like gravel. Tom tried to ask her name, but she vanished into the brush, as if she'd never been. The men stumbled north, leaning on each other, the locket in Eric's pocket glinting under the stars. They didn't speak of Villa or the tree, but the weight of survival bound them tighter than blood. Back in Houston, Eric and Anna married, the ordeal a shadow they kept private. Tom returned to cattle, but Eric, changed by the desert, saw opportunity in the land. He bought a plot outside Houston, rich with black soil, and turned it to truck farming, rows of tomatoes, beans, and corn that fed the growing city. His knack for machines led him to tinker with irrigation pumps and later electrical systems. By 1920, when Houston was still flickering with gas lamps, Eric's farm was one of the first to hum with electric power, its lights a beacon in the night. He built a life of plenty, his barns full, his table crowded with children, 3 boys and a girl, all with Anna's eyes. Eric never spoke of the woman who saved them, but he honored her in his own way. Every spring he'd leave a basket of his best produce at the edge of his land, where the Comanche once roamed, as if she might find it. Tom, now a rancher with a family of his own, would join him, the brothers-in-law sitting quietly under the stars, the locket still in Eric's pocket, its silver worn smooth. Eric lived to 82, dying in 1963, his farm a legacy that fed Houston for decades. At his funeral, Tom, gray and weathered, placed a single cottonwood leaf on the casket, a silent nod to the tree that nearly took them and the woman who gave them back. No one knew the story, not Anna, not the children, not the town. It lived only in the brothers' glances, in the produce left at the field's edge, in the hum of electric light that carried Eric's gratitude into the Texas night. Thank you for listening to my story. Till next time, may God smile on you and bless you.